The WCA home has private rooms for seniors who need assisted living. We are a nonprofit home founded 125 years ago for women, now seeking approval for men. Our mission has always been top-notch assisted living. Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Doc Hamels, and welcome back to another edition of Chautauqua Sunrise. Woo! It's a beautiful week and a little warm out there, so be very careful and make sure you hydrate. That's the key word this weekend. Well, we're back and we're live today. We were pre-taped last week. Randy and Jeff and I, we did the ride for Roswell, and we're proud to say that we, in a small way, I suppose, helped raise $5.2 million. I can hardly even say the word. $5.2 million. We were told that every dollar that was donated raised $13 because it's matched. So a great ride. We had a good time, and we didn't lose Randy this time at all. Never. He never got lost. Last year, he went up down the road, and I'm yelling, "Randy, come back." He had missed the sign. So lots of fun. We did a 30-mile ride along the river. The weather was perfect. I was really very hesitant about going because I was concerned about lightning and that, but it turned out okay. So good deal. I want to say good afternoon to our listeners on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people. Thanks for joining us, and we have a very interesting show in store for you as always today, so please stay tuned. Want to point out to you that this week is the 4th of July parade in Mayville, and Chris Burt is ramping up his show, Destination Chautauqua, and we're going to be covering that parade again. I don't even know how many years I've done this now, 5 or 6 years, something like that, and I'll be announcing the parade, I suppose you'd call it, right in front of the Mayville Library, and it's going to be live starting at 9 o'clock, so we're looking forward to that. Throughout the show today, I know Jeff has been popping things up as I speak, but for those that are listening, we will ask you to call us if you have a question or a comment, something you want to announce for your club or organization. Happy to do it for you, or just email us. But you can give us a call today at 753-5225, and you might have a question for my guest or myself, okay? So don't be shy. All right, a couple things I just want to share with you is that I want to give a shout out to the folks in Westfield. coming up Saturday is their farmers market, and Will and I are going to be performing there from 11 to 1. And then the next day, we're doing a doubleheader. We're going just down the road to Ripley, and at Meters, they're having a big cruise in, so we're going to be playing for them from noon to 3, and that should be a lot of fun. So lots of music, lots of stuff going on. Okay, well, right now, I want to do what we call a little vignette, and this is, I have some special guests that are going to be joining me here in the studio in just a second. So I know this is going to seem like a little bit of a surprise, but I'm going to do this anyways. I want Jeff, if you could join me here in the studio. Chris and Randy, come on over here, please. Emerald, I need you over here. And Justin, I don't care, whatever you say, you got to get over here right now. Come over here to these chairs. Please, come on, come on. You'll understand it because this is just way cool. So I need that wide angle shot, please. Come on, just, I don't care. Sit anywhere you want. Right here, Emerald, right by me. Right over here. Jeff, Justin, come. No, you got to do this. You have to do this. Jeff, I need you. Randall, everybody over here. Chop, chop, chop. I got a surprise for you. You're my guest today. You didn't even know it. Where's Randy? Chris?
I don't think Randy's in the studio.
You don't think he's in? Is your dad here? Did he leave? All right, well, too bad. He loses, he snoozes. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, folks, what this is all about is, and this is the end of our 4th season. And that's really, really cool. Come on in here, Chris, join me. All right, and I'm going to ask Emerald to do a little job for me. Okay. No, this is really easy. Okay. And now Randy Burt should be here, and he stepped out, but he's not here right now. So I would ask you to hand this out, but you can't open these up yet, guys. Okay. And Chuck Kelsey is never here, so no, there's nothing specific. Don't open it yet. What has happened is this is our end of our 4th year, and these are the people I work with every Saturday morning, plus Chuck Kelsey, who does magic behind the scenes, and of course, Randy does a lot of things for us as well. Well, guys, our work has not gone unnoticed. So now you can open it up. This is from the state of New York, and it's a legislative resolution, Senate number 4288, from Senator Young, commemorating our 200th episode, remember, of Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm going to read this whole thing because it's just way cool. Whereas it is the intent of this legislative body to honor and commemorate the proud and distinguished histories of those in the radio and television industry, which comprise the noble body of this great empire state. And whereas attendant to such concern, I don't know what that means, and in full accord with its long-standing traditions, this legislative body is justly proud to commemorate the 200th episode of Chautauqua Sunrise, and I think they get paid by the word. Whereas since July 5th, 2014, Chautauqua Sunrise has been a weekly television show brought into the homes of residents by focusing on important issues facing the county and New York State. Chautauqua Sunrise airs on Access 5, Saturdays from 9 to 10 a.m., and WRFA Radio out of Jamestown, where shows are rebroadcast on Tuesday at 1 o'clock. And whereas Chautauqua Sunrise is completely operated by a dedicated volunteer staff, which includes Dr. John Hamels, host and producer, Jeff Zook, engineer, Chris Burt, director, a camera crew of Randy Burt, Justin Burt, and Emerald Weish, and station manager Chuck Kelsey. Whereas the 200th episode of the Chautauqua Sunrise did air on April 28th, 2018, and it is clear that this weekly episodic show will continue to produce an outstanding broadcast that allows those in the community to engage in discussions regarding important topics throughout the region and across the state, and there's more. Whereas it is the intent of this legislative body to publicly recognize and honor milestones in the history of radio and television productions, both large and small, in this great empire state. Now therefore be it resolved that this legislative body pause in its deliberations to commemorate the 200th episode show of Chautauqua Sunrise, and be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution suitably engrossed be transmitted to Dr. John P. Hamels, host and producer of Chautauqua Sunrise, by order of the state, Francis W. Patience, Secretary, adopted in Senate on March 27th, 2018, State of New York, the Senate. Congratulations to all of us. Well done, guys. Thank you for all your help. And those are for you to keep forever and ever.
Cool.
I'll put it right next to me.
All right, so Jay, if you want to do a close-up on this, I've been waiting to give this to you guys. So let's do a close-up on that whenever you can, just for folks at home that can watch this. So there it is, very, very official from Kathy Young, and we thank everybody. Obviously, whoa, I'm trying to go slow here. All right, so there it is. I just show you the front cover, really, really nice, nicely embossed. So Chuck Kelsey and Randy Burt, wherever you are, we'll get you a copy as well. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that little surprise, guys. It was a nice surprise for me as well when I received the package. So cool things here. So we end season 4 today, and next week we start our 5th year. Holy moly, seems hard to believe. So with that, we're going to continue on with the things that we do here, and that's sharing information that you all send to us. And don't be shy. We want to know what's going on so that others can know what's going on right next door. Sometimes you don't even know. All right, let's start out with our friends at Infinity. Local musician donates to Infinity. This is a brand new one, okay? So this is slide 15. Infinity has always been grateful to have the support of area musicians as they grow and develop programming to support the next generation of artists in Chautauqua County. Thanks to this local tribe of supporters, Infinity has been able to accomplish so many amazing learning experiences with the young people who choose to spend their extra time at the Infinity Center. Area musician Mark, I'm trying not to mess up the name, Mincarelli, has gone above and beyond the call of support and has chosen to donate all tips and funds raised from his performances to Infinity. To date, Mark has raised more than $1,000. Holy mackerel, good on you, Mark, for Infinity. Mincarelli says it's a way to help out by doing something I love. Donating to Infinity is not only a worthy cause, but liberates me from the idea of performing for money. Now I'm paying for fun. Good idea. Mark approached Infinity with his idea and immediately set to work collaborating with area businesses and venues to establish a relationship and explain his idea to support the music and arts program at Infinity. Executive Director Shane Hawkins says, like most nonprofits, we have to hold a lot of fundraisers at Infinity in order to support our youth programming. Mark's idea is hands down the most brilliantly creative idea we've ever had, and anyone has ever had. Wait a minute, I gotta read this. Sometimes these things don't read quite right. Ever had that anyone's ever come forward with. It benefits Infinity in a huge way, markets the businesses that he performs at, and he loves performing. He's just so positive from every angle. In addition to regular paying gigs, Mark has been hitting the streets with a battery-operated PA system. So, in case you want to check out Mark, you can go to Facebook and put Mark.Mincarelli, MINCARELLI.9 to see his forthcoming performing dates and so forth. So good on you, Mark. I'm a musician as well, and just great to see when we're supporting kids coming up behind us. All right, let's move along. My buddy Otto Mecco, calling all poets and poetry lovers. The Infinity Visual and Performing Arts Center will be hosting Pulse Poetry Slam Open Mic Night. You would think it would be Mick Night, but it's Mike Night on Thursday, July 5, coming up this week at 6 o'clock at the Infinity Arts Cafe. Poets and audience members are welcome. All right, here we go. Justin, ready? Performance poetry is an excellent way to express creativity while practicing performance in public speaking. All ages are welcome. Like you to try saying that. Kaleidoscope performance also at Infinity. Students from the Infinity Visual Performing Arts Center will be showcasing their talents at Kaleidoscope performance on Friday, July 6th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. at the Infinity Arts Cafe. These nights are ever-changing, but interesting mix of a variety of performers, including music, poetry, dance, theaters, students, and all the instructors join in, as well as invited guests. The event is free, family friendly, and open to the public. They like to put a lot of P's in their announcements for me, just to make me crazy, I think. Also, they want you to know that there's lots of different summer camps coming up at Infinity, and I'm just going to tell you about the first two, because there's others through August, and I'll announce those. But Infinity is looking to a full summer of fun and creative experiences. For the county, the center will offer 4 weeks of hands-on summer day camp activities for ages 6 to 12. Okay, from the sci-fi camp, ages 8 to 12 is from July 9 to the 13th, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Stretch your imagination as we explore weird and creative science fiction creatures, worlds, and beings. That sounds like fun. Time Traveler Camp, ages 6 to 12, July 23rd to the 27th. Journey through infinity's time machine and explore the past and future through music, art, dance, theater, and activities. And there's 2 others that will be coming up, and we'll talk about those later on. Okay, real quick, slide 17, just to remind you that on September 8th is the 15th annual local music showcase, and I believe I'll be performing probably for the 6th year in a row, and that's just mark your calendars. We're moving right along here. Okay, lots of things going on in Chautauqua County this year, especially this week. All right, without going into great detail, Hanover, our friends up in Hanover are having fireworks at Borrello Park. What, you get elected county executive and they name a park after you? I think maybe the park was already Borrello Park. I don't know. All right, so they're having live music and fireworks July 3rd at Borrello Park this year. The band is 2nd Street Sunset, and the music will start at 6:30 and run until a fireworks show at dusk. All right, that's up at Hanover Community Chamber of Commerce is sponsoring that. All right, let's go to Mayville. As you already know, the 4th of July parade is Mayville is going to be just swarming with people. Good fun, lots of stuff going on, especially fire trucks. But Mayville Entertainment in the Park, the Chamber of Commerce there is going to begin its summer-long entertainment in the park with Jackson Rom. Concerts will take place each Thursday through July and August from 6:30 to 8:30 at Lakeside Park in Mayville. Bring a lawn chair, enjoy an evening of free entertainment. Okay, now we're going to go to Westfield. Okay, that's slide 19, I guess. Enjoy the first Fridays in the Fish in Westfield. As you know, Guppy is there in the park, along with Harris from the Rotary Club. Paul Harris, and the founder of Rotary. And there's, I think, 87 fish altogether, all over Barcelona and Westfield. And they want you to know that their next First Friday is July 6th. And if everybody comes out, the folks have, vendors have things out on the streets. There's kid games, there's music, food, and all kinds of stuff. So that's coming up this Friday, right after the 4th of July. All right. Then, of course, we've got the annual Mayville Library Summer Book Sale. Okay, if you're bored already, well, shame on you, because you can go to Mayville and get yourself some books. And there's the schedule, and I'll just tell you real quick for those on the radio. Monday, July 2nd, the 3rd, the 5th, the 6th, and 7th are the sales. And basically, they start at 10 a.m. and go to various times: 7 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 5 p.m., 2 p.m. Anyways, check them out. There's adult and children books, movies, magazines, puzzles, and a whole lot more. I'm sure you can get them at a really nice price. All right, Randy Anderson, the crazy man over there at the Sports Hall of Fame, he wants me to let you know that the Coon Road Speedway at Ottawa Park, he's got something going on here. The Sports Hall of Fame, with the courtesy of the Westfield Fire Department, will hold a gathering for all persons interested in the history of Coon Road Speedway on Sunday, July 8th. The reunion will be held at the Westfield Fire Department's annual Ox Roast located at Ottaway Park on Route 5, just east of Barcelona. The Ox Roast begins at 12 p.m., while the Coon Road Speedway reunion will convene at 1. So basically, Randy and Greg were on my show. They're talking this up. There's a old racetrack out on Coon Road in Westfield, and they're asking people, anybody that knows anything about that speedway, if you have pictures, memorabilia, just like the one we're looking at right now, a guy on a beat-up car, to please bring the stuff. And if you have anything, please give him Randy a call, Randy Anderson, at the Sports Hall of Fame at 640-6219, and they're going to just try to have get people together to talk about the Coon Road Speedway and hopefully gather some memorabilia and good memories. So if you're interested, that's going to be July 8th at the Ox Roast. All right, let's see here. I'm moving right ahead here. What is this one? I'm going to skip that one. Okay, Laugh in the Dark. Oh boy, is R-rated humor for big kids 18 and up. an evening of comedy that will have you on the floor laughing. It's now over at the Jackie Phillips Theater at the Presbyterian Church in Westfield. It's air conditioned, and they have chair lifts for customers who need assistance. That's brand new. This is going to take place in July 13, 14, and 15, and tickets are $10 at the door, and this is sponsored by Lakeshore Center for the Arts.com. Yesterday, I got an emergency call, and they had me help out at the Unplugged in the Middle of the Field program that they do once a month, which is a kind of a variety show, and it was a lot of fun again last night, so I got to play for them. All right, let's keep on moving. July 14th is the Taste of Westfield, and as we've talked about, that's going to take place from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Westfield Farmers and Artisans Market on July 14th. I said that part already, but I want to reiterate it's the 14th, and the rain date is the 21st, and the whole idea being is that they're going to have all kinds of foods and beverages and things from the area, and if you're interested, mark your calendar, and if you're interested in participating, give Nancy Scriven a call at 269-9726. Woo! All right, you know what? I'm done right now. We're going to take a break because I don't want to spend any more time away from my guest. So this is for you, and we'll be right back.
Hey, hon.
Are you almost home?
Yeah, I'll make it. There's just some construction slowing me down.
All right, I'm sending them.
Kids, Mom will be home soon. Come help in the kitchen.
Everyone has a reason to get home. Slow down in work zones. Flaggers have families too.
That's the truth, and especially this time of year right now, all those potholes that we complain about, now they're doing something about it. So don't complain about the fact they're doing something about the potholes, because those guys and gals are out there working in the hot sun, and please, give them a break. Slow down. All right, today I'm welcoming back Tory Igrang to our show today, and you are the Executive Director of the Chautauqua County Regional Community Foundation. Did I get that right?
It's pretty close, yeah. Chautauqua Region Community Foundation.
Oh, I put an O on the end.
Yeah, but that's fine.
All right.
Yes. So thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And Tory, last time you were here, you announced a few things, and we didn't really get a chance to talk to you much, other than whatever. I don't even remember what you were talking. Oh no, you were talking about some award. You were promoting the award. Was that what it was?
We were talking about our Axel Carlson
That's
Award.
the one. Yep.
We were looking for nominations, and so that process. We're back a little bit to tell you about the culmination of that process.
All right.
So a wonderful individual named Ann Walsh is the recipient of that recognition, and will be publicly recognizing her on Monday, July 9th at St. Mary of Lourdes Parish Hall, right here in Mayville. And it's open to the community, to anyone who knows Ann, or even people who don't know Ann but appreciate the volunteerism that she has done over a lifetime. 45 years, I think, she has lived in this community, and she's been busy every minute of that, it seems, from things with her family when she had younger children and she was involved in their activities, to a lot of really special work that she does today. So that will take place at 3:30 in the St. Mary of Lourdes Parish Hall, and we promise that there will be a sweet treat.
A sweet treat. Well, I hope Ann watches the show here, and if not, if you are watching the show and you know Ann, because she's from Mayville, you can invite her over to your house and watch the show, because we're on at 2 and 8 every day. So I want to give a shout out to Ann. I do know Ann from many, many years ago. A sweet lady and a great family. And from what you were telling me prior to the show, a well-deserved recipient of that award. So congratulations, Ann. Okay, Tory, we don't really know too much about you. So tell us a little bit about you. Now, where are you from, and how'd you get into this job? I mean, you've got a very interesting background from what I remember.
Well, I guess this is not the part that I was prepared for. I brought all these materials.
Like I always tell you never know what I'm going to ask you.
I guess not. So I grew up in Jamestown, and I graduated from Southwestern High School, and I went to college in Ohio at Mount Union, which is a small private college that is best known for Division III football accomplishments. But it came back to the area, and I worked in a few different, started out as thought maybe I'd have a career in education as a teacher, and one thing led to another. I ended up in the nonprofit sector doing some public health work, and I actually spent time working at our county health department for a short time, and migrated back to the private nonprofit sector and landed at United Way. I had done some community volunteer work, and that sort of led to my path to United Way of Southern Chautauqua County, and I was there for about 7 years, and came over to the Community Foundation about 8 months ago.
Wow, well, congratulations. I know I've done a lot of work with the Community Foundation over the years, and it's a great organization, and I'm sure you're going to have a lot of fun. And you're on track to have as many pictures in the paper as Randy did.
Well,
I said, Tory's got more pictures in the paper than I do this week.
I have a wonderful job. I've been.
Yeah, I bet.
People say, "How's it going?" And I say, "I have the best job in the world. My job is I get to talk with people. I get to learn about things in this community that are important, and try to find a way for the Community Foundation to be helpful to those efforts. And the other side is really talking with folks who have long-term charitable goals and ideas. And the Community Foundation can be a wonderful partner, and we do that all the time. We help people find the way to do the things that are most important to them forever, so that they really have a long-standing legacy here.
Okay, so not only are we going to talk about your anniversary here today, but let's roll the clock back a little bit, shall we? And let's talk about the whole concept of what is a community foundation. Because even though I know that we have at least 2 in the county and maybe more, we have a small one in Ripley. We have a Heritage Foundation. I don't think people realize the importance of it, the power of it, and what it does. So how about, let's do the Webster Dictionary. What is a community foundation?
Well, I'm not sure I'm really qualified to give the definition.
Your best version.
So a community foundation allows everyday average citizens to set up a permanently restricted endowment fund. And an endowment, by definition, means that it's there in perpetuity, forever. And so there was a time in our country where we knew people like Rockefeller and Carnegie, and they set up foundations.
I didn't know them, did you know?
I didn't know them either, but,
okay.
But yeah, so community foundation concept really allows everyday people to set up funds that are important to them, that help to accomplish goals long term, and allow them to do it very cost effectively. That's the real purpose behind a community foundation. We manage the assets, the investment portfolio, we manage the processes by which those dollars roll into the community, whether it's a grant process, a scholarship process, or simply making awards to nonprofit agencies that are designated.
Mm-hmm.
We handle all of that. We do that for the donor, we do it for the community, and it's a very inexpensive way for people, and an easy way for people who don't really want to get down into the nitty-gritty of having their own foundation to really accomplish tremendous things. And over 40 years, we have an unbelievable number of stories and exciting things that people have been able to accomplish, ways families have been able to remember someone very close to them that may have passed away at an untimely. So it's just a tremendous asset, and I'd love to talk about it. I mean,
we're going to talk about
I'm passionate about it.
I
so.
see that. We're going to talk more about it. All right, so in your particular case with the Chautauqua Region Community Foundation, the clock goes back 40 years. Mm-hmm. So what was the thinking back then, you know?
Well, I think the community foundation concept was being discussed, and there are some large foundations in big cities that had already been established. But really, we were established pretty early on for a community of our size. And like many things that happened in our area, there were some forward thinkers who heard about the concept. They actually brought in an outside firm to help understand if it was even possible here. Was this something that was doable? And essentially said if we could raise $5 million in 5 years, we could get there. And here we sit at hovering just right around $100 million 40 years later.
What? You have $100 million or at the foundation?
I mean, our total assets.
You're in charge of $100 million.
I am not.
You said you didn't know the Rockefellers.
No, I am not in charge. There's a whole team of staff and tremendous board and volunteers.
Right.
But really, when you think about 40 years of history and going from an idea that might work to something that has had a tremendous impact and exists forever today.
We have a photo of the first board of directors.
We do.
So let's pop that picture up, Jeff, when you can find it there. I know you got it in our lineup. So what was the year?
1978.
1978.
1978, 79. So we had a.
There they are. And so these are the founders of the foundation.
Well, these are the first boards. So there were some folks that worked on legal aspects and research aspects prior to this, but these are some of the folks that were the first board of directors. And what's great is that the principles that those individuals felt were strong and important, and really our mission statement about enriching the quality of life in the Chautauqua region, it hasn't changed.
Are any of these folks still around, available, or working with you?
None of the folks in this.
Okay, so they're in retirement or onto other things. All right, so that's 40 years isn't really that long ago.
No, but the world has changed a lot in 40 years.
Right.
And we were just talking about it recently in our office with the tactics and the strategies we use to communicate. And I brought along a copy of our annual report, which is still we're very proud of it. We spend a lot of time on it. But there was a time when this was the prime way that you could communicate with current donors, volunteers, and interested potential donors. And today we're managing multimedia approaches from your show.
Of course. Anybody that wants to be anybody has to be on my show.
Print newspapers, a variety of print newspapers, radio of different
Facebook,
varieties, and then social media, which
Oh,
is
it's
a whole
huge.
new place.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so I have some questions. All right.
Okay.
No,
I hope I can answer them.
All right, so very often in education, we'll have good, well-intended people, and they'll come to the school, and this happened quite often, and they say, like you said, somebody passed away. So my Aunt Matilda, she left $1,000, and I want to start a scholarship fund. And they come into the school, and they go, well, we don't do that. We could give it away. We could give $1,000 to somebody, but that's it. And so where I'm going with this is, and I want to show the distinction to our listeners and viewers right now. So you could take that $1,000, chop it up into two $500 scholarships, and it's gone forever. And somebody bought some books, they paid for their room and board for 2 days. It's very expensive. It could maybe bought some tools for somebody, go into the trades, and it's gone. Or they could have taken that $1,000 and done something different with it. All right, and that's what you refer to, I believe, as the restricted endowment type funds. So how about you take it from there?
Okay, so we manage about 40% of our total assets are scholarship funds. And that's just right around 300 distinct funds set up just as you indicated. A family who has a wish to remember someone or a goal to accomplish something with dollars, they come to us. They set up a fund. It has criteria for how it will award scholarship. It could be based on the school that someone is graduating for, the high school they're graduating from. Could be based on the college that they're attending, the field that they're studying. It could have very loose criteria and simply be about, we talked about vocational training and education. You had served on our vocational scholarship committee. So whatever the criteria is that the family establishes, that is established. It's in a fund agreement, and once the fund is up to a position where it can grant annually, it does so, and we use a team, and I'm saying a team of volunteers. We have, I think, 6 or 8 different committees of scholarship volunteers who read every single application, and last year we had over 800 applications. So when
it's intense. I know. I've been there.
If anyone thinks, oh, no one's going to read my essay, you're incorrect.
You're incorrect.
Do a really good job because it's read by a small team of folks who are not our staff review them, but these decisions are made by volunteers, and we try very hard to structure those teams of folks that are aware of what's going on in the community. Perhaps they work in education or they work in the field that's related to the scholarship. And it's a well-oiled machine. It takes place starting now. Actually, I should put in a plug while we're doing this. Our scholarship deadline is Monday, July 2nd. So
hurry.
If moms, dads, grandmas, and grandpas are watching this right now, they should make sure to tell their their young person to ask if they've completed. We have many that are in draft, and so the goal is make sure that by July 2nd you hit submit and it's fully submitted.
Okay, let me jump in. All right, now this is serious. Now, what I'm going to say right now. Number one, if you don't apply, you can't be part of it. Number two, if you come in late, you can't participate. If it's an incomplete application, you can't participate. The team will look at the writing and things like that, but not everybody is a writer. But you got to make your ideas clear and really expand what you want to do, whatever the question is. And the next one is, it's real money. You really get real money. And I'm not talking like $50. In some cases, it was hundreds of dollars, because you might be eligible. Let's just say you're a widget, you want to go to make widgets and you're going to go study widget making. Well, there might be a scholarship just for you for widget making, and you also might find out that because your grandfather was a Masonic member, there might be a Masonic one, and your uncle was an electrician's brotherhood, and there could be a scholarship there, so you could end up with multiple scholarships, right?
That's correct. I feel like you would be an excellent ambassador.
I'm not.
No, but we had last year we had over 700 recipients of scholarship dollars and over $1 million. And those are local. Those are only students graduating and having lived in our community right here in this region. It's a tremendous opportunity. I think the average award per student, because they range, was about $1,500.
That's a lot of money.
The maximum that we award is $5,000, and we had, I think, 18 young people max out. They got every dollar they were allowed. So it's too good to pass up, as you said. The application process is all online, and if you go to our website, crcfonline.org, you can access all of that. It's probably a little bit tough if you started right now at this moment to get it done by Monday, but hopefully you're already in process, and if you have questions, you can communicate with the folks at the foundation. But absolutely, those scholarships are. They have been. We have stories upon stories from people who said without those dollars, they would not have pursued whatever education they followed. They would have maybe stopped in the middle and had to take some time off. So really, we know how important that is.
I remember being on the vocational technical scholarship review committee for the scholarship for those guys, and it was specifically for the folks going in vocational areas. And at the time, we awarded a whopping like $263. That was it, just for vocational things. Where's it now?
I wish you didn't ask me that specific question.
It's a lot more than that.
Many times more than that.
Right.
It's making a significant impact, and that's an area where everyone should apply. Sometimes folks maybe self-select out, or they think they must not have a fund for me. You can search all of the funds, so I think sometimes folks search and they don't maybe find something right away. What they don't realize is there's so many funds and the criteria is so vast.
It's hard to figure that out.
When in doubt, just apply, because we have a system that will match all of the applicants up with the eligibility criteria, and so when you get $5,000, it's not from one scholarship from one fund. It's a combination of awards from a number of funds. So.
Okay, so let's walk this back just a little bit more. So let's say Mr. Jones wants to create a fund in honor of their family, and let's say it's $10,000. Let's up it up a little bit. So they get to say who's eligible, you said?
They create the criteria.
So what do you mean by criteria?
So it could be maybe they want to focus on a student who has a certain grade point average or higher.
Okay, so grades could be important, but not necessarily.
No, that's completely up to the folks establishing it. We have some scholarships that are for someone with a certain grade. Maybe they were involved in athletics, or they demonstrated volunteerism or student
community
leadership.
Service,
The criteria often depends on the person that's being remembered by the family, or it's something that was important to that family. If in some cases it's not someone who's passed on, it's just this is special to us. There are scholarships for students who are pursuing specific fields of study. We were talking earlier about your background, so maybe someone who's going into special education, they want to teach special education. That is a criteria. There could be specific colleges or universities that someone from this area is an alum and they want to see more students attend that school. So, so many things. Financial aid, and I shouldn't overlook this. Financial need is absolutely part of the criteria. I think the nice thing, not for all scholarships, but for many, I think the nice thing about the Community Foundation Scholarship Pool is it really helps the families who are right in that middle, and the amount that they are asked to pay for college is more significant than what they can easily afford, yet they might not qualify for all of the financial assistance. So it's really designed for everyone, and there's no reason you shouldn't apply.
Okay, great. And without going into great detail, then your foundation, your staff takes care of the check processing and getting all that sort of thing. Folks, you're watching Chautauqua Sunrise. My guest today is Tory Igrang, and we're talking about the 40th anniversary of the Chautauqua Region Community Foundation. And if you have a question, give us a call at 753-5225 and maybe learn a little bit more about what's going on. Now, for 40% of what you do is scholarships, you said. So what else do you do with the other 60%?
So we have a grants process. We have a couple different granting processes, and some of the folks out there, I'm sure, are familiar with it from an organization they've been involved in. We run 3 grant deadlines per year for something called community service grants. And you have to be a 501c3 and not-for-profit located in the Chautauqua region. And you can access all of this information on our website and also on a website called Chautauqua Grants, which is the way that you apply for grants today. It's all online. But those, we have 3 deadlines per year, and we're awarding over $300,000 annually through that process. These are grants that are between, well, they're $10,000 and under. Usually somewhere between $2,000 and $10,000 requests come in. They range, I mean, it's so much fun. They range from supporting a valuable program that helps individuals to a capital request for a unique building or function, and anything you can imagine in between. We use, again, a team of volunteers. Each time, each deadline, we get a different group of folks together, and you can imagine volunteers they come from different places geographically, but they also have different backgrounds, different personal ideas about what is or isn't important. And they go out, they perform site visits, they talk with the folks running whatever program
So
or
this
service.
isn't some friends apply and they give them the money.
No, and in fact, I think
Wow.
I think
This is tough.
volunteers are sometimes tougher than if you had paid staff doing all of the work. So they come together as a team, and they have a budget of dollars that they have to give away, and they have to vie among that team who've gone out and decide how to divvy up those dollars. And our goal at the foundation, and the volunteers live this, is to make sure that every dollar goes to the very best use it can, because this community has more needs than dollars to support the needs. And so we always have to choose between,
You have to,
competitive interests. So, so we're very proud of that process, and it's a great way for people, the volunteers, really get to know different parts of the community that they might otherwise not come in contact with. I think our volunteers, if any of them are watching, I would think that they would also say they find the process very rewarding. It's challenging because
It's very challenging.
you go and you meet with folks and you love their program or you love their organization, and sometimes you just can't deliver 100% of what they want, but you build champions, and these volunteers really, they love the community.
When you say community, what do you mean by community? What's the community? How big is the community? I mean, does it have boundaries?
So we focus more on the southern aspect of Chautauqua County, but it's not hard and fast. So the Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation is our partner in the northern part of the county.
The company.
And there are places where we have some overlap. They tend to do. We don't function at all in the Dunkirk-Fredonia area. A lot of that work is done by that foundation. But we also have a relationship with some folks in Randolph. We have a special fund and a special scholarship that we're working in that community. So really, in the world of community foundation, it sort of depends on the donor and how the donor comes forward and says, this is important to me, and I like the approach that you're using. I like the way your investments are handled, what have you. And we try our best to work with that donor to meet their goals.
So it's possible you would have a countywide scholarship or grant program, or it would be very specific to maybe just a town or something like that, or
Absolutely.
a village.
We have a really neat, so I mentioned Randolph. We also have a fund for the Faulkner community. It's their own regional fund, established by some business leaders who felt really strongly about wanting to preserve the community of Faulkner and its surrounding area. And the applicants must come from within the Faulkner School District boundaries. So it's a unique, it's not a zip code or a municipal boundary per se, but it allows that community to take care of the charitable needs within.
40 years ago, a group of people, business leaders and so forth, created the Community Foundation. Can you share with us maybe like top 3 guiding principles that maybe you still use today, in your own words? Right. In other words, if I walked in there today, these are things that we do. This is what we follow.
So we treat every person who walks through the door the same. It doesn't matter who you are or what anything that we know about you beforehand. Everyone gets treated with the utmost respect and dignity, and we treat every phone call, every inquiry as very, very important, and we handle it that way. Our staff are second to none in the sense that every single person in that building, we don't have someone we say, geez, this person doesn't do this job. Everyone takes care of.
So you're like cross-trained type thing?
And our focus is on people. So whatever crosses the threshold, that is what we're all focused on at that moment. So I think that the people are the
There's the people.
So there is our staff.
Okay, for those listening, we're looking at a variety of people. Looks like a bridge on a bridge. Okay, so go ahead.
That's our staff photo from this annual report, and there's a team of 8 people, and it's amazing what gets accomplished in terms of work. And when I talk about how you handle people, we have 8 of us, and everyone has their own unique responsibilities, but then it's sort of an all hands on deck mentality. I'd say the other piece that's really important, Doc, is integrity. Okay. So part of why the Community Foundation succeeded in a place of our size with some of the economic challenges and pressures that we have, and yet survives and thrives today, is because of having very high integrity. Over the years, donors would not have trusted us with their legacy, not just their money, but their legacy.
That's probably more important than the money.
Absolutely.
Remembering Grandpa Mortimer or whatever he did on the locomotives or whatever.
And trusting us that we will keep that legacy alive through the fund, the grant, the scholarship that takes place annually, and that we care about that legacy. And I think that integrity, the way that we approach the work, making sure that our financials are 100% transparent, that our structure is as lean as it can be to be effective, and that 100% of our focus is on returning to the community as much as we can in terms of grants.
I had Kurt Young on here not too long ago with what he was creating a mentor program. I'm seeing parallels here. Legacy. Handing down to the next generation, keeping things going. You're sort of like financial mentors.
Absolutely, and I think we also can, when people are confronted with a tragedy, or potentially they're left to handle an estate of a family member and make sure their wishes are fulfilled, we can come alongside that family and really support them and help them. We have quite a bit of experience. I might not have that experience yet, but the team at the foundation has really been through a lot of things, and they can help people navigate. I think the most eye-opening is how simple it is on the end of the person wishing to establish a fund. If they can communicate to us what their desires and their goals are, we can really do the rest of the work, and it's very simple for that.
Is there, how do I put this? Is there a certain amount of money that you got to kind of have to kind of get the machine running for a fund? So
you can start a fund with $1.
Okay.
I mean, literally start a fund, sign an agreement with $1. In order for that fund to make a grant, it needs to be at $5,000 for our grant, or $7,500 for a scholarship. So that's the minimum for it to begin spending money. But many funds don't come in at that level. They come in and families are contributing to them over time. Perhaps they're fundraising to generate a significant principal that can then make larger grants. So really all people need to do if they have an interest or something that's really inside them that they want to talk more about, they call us and then we help to navigate the rest.
Okay, true or false? The $10,000 that I would give you never gets spent.
True.
Because it's only producing interest.
Correct. And yes. So
and that's what's given away.
absolutely. So that fund exists in perpetuity if you choose to establish an endowed fund with us.
So, if I remember right, you're really at the mercy of the stock market and interest rates. So when life is good, we have lots of money. When it's not so good, there's not so much money. So is that pretty much it? You're able to give money as the world of finance goes? Or?
Sure. So we're governed by the state of New York. A lot of us are.
Imagine that.
And it's there's some financial standards and some rules, and there's a term for it. It's called MIFA.
What?
I won't. I mean, we would put everyone to sleep right away if we talked about it.
Okay.
But it's important that we follow these guidelines. And so our board of directors makes financially prudent decisions annually about how much can be spent from across the board, what the spending percentage is. And that's been at 5% for a very long time. Our board has been committed to that. And so in a year like 2017, the market, our investment portfolio saw about a 17% return, which is tremendous. It was a tremendous year. And so in that year, when you're spending 5%, there's a lot of that growth that isn't getting spent. And that helps us in the years where maybe the market is only...
So it's like an averaging then.
We do. We could teach a whole session on this, and I wouldn't be the one to teach it, but we look back, so we average out those gains so that we try to level out the market, which of course this year has been, it's up, it's down, it's all
I noticed
around.
that, yes. It's actually going nowhere. It's sort of like
So we try to average that out over time by taking a long look back and making sure that funds are only spending what they really can to maintain that initial investment.
Okay, so for my viewers and listeners right now, and I'm just making this up now. All right, so what do you invest their money in? I mean, like, I don't want to make up something silly, but what are you invested in?
So we have an asset allocation, and that, again, is like a 50-page investment policy document that I would love. Well, and again, I would love to talk about that with, we have staff. We have an investment committee at the foundation that makes recommendations to our board.
Okay.
So ultimately, we work with an investment consultant. We have this investment committee of very knowledgeable volunteers. And then we have a staff. We don't have a big staff, remember I said only 8 of us total.
I counted you, I could do that.
But we have a fiscal officer. So none of our work is possible. All of these scholarships, all of these grants, that's the story that we tell, but none of that work is possible without really tending to how the investments are established, what's our philosophy, what's our long-term goal on growth and risk. And those things are debated quarterly by our investment committee. And over the life of the foundation, that committee has been one of the most important functions.
Oh, I would think so, sure. So you went to school for what now? And now you're doing what?
Right, I know.
It's quite a career stretcher.
This is certainly where my passion is, and
it's pretty obvious.
Great example to young people applying for scholarships and pursuing education. You really never know that your field of study is going to directly match up with what you love to do as a grown-up, and it changes as you age. So I have a wonderful job. I'm very, very fortunate, very blessed to live in this community where I grew up, raise my family here.
I agree.
I told you the story. My husband came here from, I met him in college in Ohio and brought him to this community. He loves it, and I'm just grateful to have this opportunity. Obviously, the Community Foundation has been in very good hands since it started, and I think about the first 40 years and what we're going to do moving forward.
Do you have some goals for the next 40? Or 5 or 2?
Well, We do. We are really working on how do we engage, so continue to maintain our current support and our current engagement with our long-term donors and friends. And then how do we engage the next generation of philanthropists, folks who don't see themselves as philanthropists. And I think that's really challenging. It's not just challenging here, it's challenging across the country. We've got different generational ideals in those folks than we have in some of those who've been with us since the founding, and we have to navigate that, not pivot away from what we've done, but find new ways to incorporate those views and those beliefs and those individuals' goals into our work.
So I'll translate what you just said. The old timers like to invest their money in the future, and the young kids spend their money.
I didn't say that.
I did. but I think knowing young adults and middle-aged adults now, my own children, I think it takes them a little while to get to that point to understand what we're talking about.
Well, and I think the idea of an endowment is really, it's a foreign concept. I mean, most of us don't spend our day thinking about endowed things.
We're worried about paying an electric bill and, and putting gas in the car and stuff.
And I think that there are donors who want a legacy. There are also individuals who want to make an impact today with not just their dollars, with their time, with their expertise. And we have to make sure that the nonprofit sector in our community is poised to accept those individuals and put them to work in a way that honors their commitment and helps to cultivate them into the long-term legacy builders that predecessors were.
Okay, so we talk about grants and scholarships. Is there any other category, or is that pretty much that?
I mean, that we have a variety of agencies that choose to have their endowment funds under management at the Chautauqua Region Community
All right, so you sort of
Foundations.
shepherd them, or because you're a bigger organization, can kind of take over for them?
Absolutely, and that allows their board of directors to do the governance of the organization, and we're able to draw on tremendous expertise, as I said, to manage those investments. And we like to help smaller organizations who wouldn't have the same capacity to do that. So.
All right, now I know they're out there. They're always out there. There's some real skeptical people, and that you read all the time about this foundation and that foundation. They're being investigated. The directors are making millions of dollars, so can you tell us a little bit about how your budget and how you work?
Well, I don't make millions of dollars.
That's a good
that's step
that's
one.
a good thing.
But our board has been always committed to keeping our operating expenses, so not just how much you pay individual staff, but how many staff you have, how grand your overhead is, so your physical
Right. Keep it
location.
modest.
We've always had a really good balance, and our board manages
you.
that. We maintain, we function on that 8-person staff. We could probably afford to have more staff, but we can get it done the way we're doing it, and so we capture those dollars as we can to put back into grant making.
Tory, we got about a minute left, so I'm going to let you focus and talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Okay. Well, a couple weeks ago, on June 14th, we had our first ever regional 24-hour day of giving. It was an online day of giving. It was called Give Big CHQ. And I'm sure folks that are connected to social media have seen the results. Over $90,000 was put back into the nonprofit sector by a combination of the Community Foundation making special prizes and awards, and then individual people giving. And that is tremendous. We are excited about what it was. We're looking at all of the data. As you can imagine, there's so much information to wade through, and we're eager to see what's next, if that's something that we'll do again. And we just welcome feedback from anyone who participated on the organizational side. We're planning to send out a survey in the next couple of weeks so that we can get information.
Okay. Tory, thanks for joining us today. How about a phone number if somebody has some questions?
Sure. 661-3390.
Okay. Folks, that's a wrap for another Chautauqua Sunrise. That went quick.
It sure did.
And we probably didn't cover everything you wanted to cover. You'll just have to come back another time. All right, I'm Doc Hamels, and my guest today has been Tory Igrang, and she's with the Chautauqua Region Community Foundation, and they do good work, and happy 40th anniversary.
Thank you.
We're all having anniversaries today, 4 years for us. So we'll see you in our next season, Next week, we'll be starting year 5. Have a lovely 4th of July. Use the sunblock and use your suntan lotion. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay cool. Bye now.